We'll discuss some MCQs, okay? So we'll see the first one. Regarding condom, which of the following is true, okay? So condom, as you all know, it is a beta contraceptive, okay? But it does not have a very good efficacy, okay? But it does not have the highest failure rate as well, okay? So any contraceptive, the efficacy will be measured in the form of Pearl index, okay? Pearl index, and the unit will be 100 women years, okay? So as you all know, condoms can be male or it can be female condom, okay? So in average, the condom will have an efficacy of 5 to 1300 women years, okay? Just remember this, 5 to 1300 women years. If it is male specifically, then it is 3 to 5, okay? But in average, the female and male will have 5 to 1300 women years, okay? And the biggest advantage of using condom is it can reduce the transmission of STDs. So this is the correct answer. Correct answer is C. And it should not put just before ejaculation, because the failure rate will increase then, okay? So we'll go to the next one. 16 years old girl with primary dysmenorrhea, and the most suitable treatment is which of the following, okay? So dysmenorrhea, it will be basically two types, okay? One is primary, one is secondary, okay? Apart from this, one is triple dysmenorrhea, okay? So primary dysmenorrhea is also known as spasmodic, okay? Is also known as spasmodic dysmenorrhea, and secondary dysmenorrhea is also known as congestive dysmenorrhea, okay? So the most common treatment given for primary dysmenorrhea is prostaglandin synthase inhibitor, okay? It can be both combined inhibitor of COX-1 and COX-2, or it can be COX-2 inhibitor, selective COX-2 inhibitor like celecoxib, okay? So celecoxib, what is the advantage? It will have lesser side effects compared to NSAIDs, okay? So DNC is not done, okay? Paracervical block is generally not given. Generic analog is not given. So only opt option is NSAIDs, okay? One more thing is triple dysmenorrhea. Triple dysmenorrhea means onset of pain prior to menses, persistence of pain during the menses, and after the menses, okay? It is typical of endometriosis and adenomyosis, okay? So what are the treatments in case of dysmenorrhea, okay? Primary dysmenorrhea, mainly prostaglandin synthase inhibitor. Apart from that, we can give OCPs. Why? Because it inhibits ovulation, okay? Because it inhibits ovulation, okay? So apart from that, we can give progesterones. We can give intrauterine devices, okay, like Mirena containing progesterone, okay? Which progesterone does Mirena contain? It is levonorgestrel, okay? It is levonorgestrel. And what is the etiology of primary dysmenorrhea? Etiology will be mainly due to prostaglandin F2 alpha, okay? It is a potent vasoconstrictor. Okay? Apart from prostaglandin F2 alpha, other substances which cause dysmenorrhea is endothelin, okay? Endothelin, leukotrienes, and platelet aggregating factors, okay? Okay, so what it will do, this are inducers of myometrial contractions, okay? So whenever there is myometrial contraction, there will be pain. And what does prostaglandin F2 alpha do? It is a protein vasoconstrictor, right? So it will cause myometrial ischemia, okay? So myometrial ischemia will lead to a form of angina, and it will lead to dysmenorrhea, okay? So these are the substances involved in the etiology of primary dysmenorrhea, okay? Prostaglandins, vasopressin, endothelin, platelet activating factor, and leukotrienes, okay? So one more thing I would like to tell here is about unilateral dysmenorrhea. Okay, unilateral dysmenorrhea. Okay, it happens when there is ovarian dysmenorrhea. I'll come to that later. Ovarian dysmenorrhea, or whenever there is a fibroid at one cornu. Okay, or in bicornuate uterus. Okay, these are the three main causes of unilateral dysmenorrhea. Okay, pain will be limited to only one side. Okay, so now we'll see about ovarian dysmenorrhea. What is ovarian dysmenorrhea? This right ovarian vein will be crossing the ureter. Okay, so premenstrually there will be engorgement of the vessel. Okay, engorgement of this vessel. Okay, so it will compress the ureter. Okay, as a result there will be stasis of urine in the ureter and it might lead to some infection, and this is the cause of right ovarian vein syndrome or ovarian dysmenorrhea. Okay, apart from that, I would like to tell you one more cause of congestive dysmenorrhea. Okay, it is known as Taylor syndrome. Okay, Taylor syndrome. Okay, what is it? It is also known as pelvic congestion syndrome. Okay, so there will be some pelvic varicosities and patient will have congestive dysmenorrhea. Diagnosis is mainly done by Doppler. Okay, and laparoscopic diagnosis is very difficult because in laparoscopy we generally position the patient in Trendelenburg position. Okay, so foot 10 will be raised. So what will happen? The varicosities will reduce. Okay, so laparoscopy is not diagnostic. The only diagnostic tool is Doppler scan or duplex ultrasound scan. Okay, and treatment can be progesterones. Okay, for 3 to 4 months. Okay, most commonly used progesterone is medroxyprogesterone acetate. Okay, so let's see the third question. This we have already discussed. What is Taylor syndrome? Okay, Taylor syndrome is nothing but pelvic congestion syndrome and pelvic varicosities. Okay, now what is Mitchell mark? Mitchell mark is mid ovulation pain. Okay, during ovulation mid cycle pain. Okay, so due to ovulation there will be some pain in the mid cycle, that is known as Mitchell mark. Okay, so other three options are incorrect and this is the correct option B. Okay, so coming to the fourth one, which of the following is not used for inhibiting lactation? Okay, so normally drugs used for inhibiting lactation is the dopamine agonist. Okay, remember dopamine agonist. There are mainly three types of dopamine agonist. Okay, one is bromocriptine, second is cabergoline, and the third is quinagoline. Okay, so bromocriptine is most commonly used in non-pregnant patients. Okay, if bromocriptine is not tolerated, then the choice of drug is cabergoline. But as such, due to larger amount of publications, the bromocriptine is the preferred one. Okay, followed by cabergoline, and quinagoline is generally not preferred because of huge amount of side effect, and mostly quinagoline, if it is used in pregnant patients, it can cause teratogenicity. Okay, even bromocriptine, if given within the first 4 weeks of pregnancy, it can cause teratogenicity. So the drug used for inhibiting lactation, okay, most commonly used is bromocriptine. Okay, in non-pregnant patients. Okay, followed by cabergoline. In pregnancy, the choice of drug choice is cabergoline. Okay, and quinagoline is not preferred. Okay, now this janazole is not even into this group. Okay, it's not this group of drug, so the correct option is janazole. Okay, so along with this we know the name of dopamine antagonist. Okay, which will cause hyperprolactinemia. What is the name of the dopamine antagonist? It is metoclopramide. Okay, metoclopramide, remember. Okay,